Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one. This is the big video that I've been wanting to make for quite a while now. This is the video where I talk about how Disney ruined the art of animation. They turned it into a joke. They are the reason why the whole animation is for kids stigma continues to exist to this day. Walt Disney ruined animation. Just like that. In the last two videos of this series, I talked about everything that's been going on with animation nowadays. I talked about how you have streaming services that neglect the art of animation by canceling shows, or in the case of HBO Max, straight up removing them. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if other streaming services like Paramount Plus or Disney Plus follow suit. You have nobody wanting to do anything original, instead just rehashing old shows from back in the day. All kinds of original, unique shows, they get cancelled in favor of either unfunny Family Guy clones or revivals of cartoons that nobody wanted revivals for. Or in Velma's case, both. So today we're going to be talking about Disney. We're going to be talking about the core reason animation is not taken seriously. In this video, I'm going to be going over why Disney ruined this art form and how for the last few years, both Disney and Pixar have been getting beaten by the competition. And I'm going to be showing you all why, even though animation is a dead art form, there's still hope for animation. There is still hope that things could get better. But Disney acts like this massive obstacle in the way to prevent animation from being taken seriously. So in today's video, that's what we're going to be talking about. I don't know what else to say, so let's just dive right in. Something important to note is that I'm not hating on the artists and animators and whatnot that worked on these movies. I shouldn't hate on them. Admittedly, they have done nothing wrong. They've put a lot of heart, a lot of passion. There's a lot of talent in these movies. They're objectively good movies. All of the hate should be directed towards the higher ups at Disney. They should be directed towards the corporate side of Disney, as if there's a non-corporate side, but not the artists, not the animators. When Walt Disney made Steamboat Willie all those years ago, I don't think he intended for it to be like the downfall of animation. I don't think he intended for animation to be seen as just a dumb thing for kids and nothing else. I'm sure when he made Steamboat Willie, he made it for shits and giggles, and that's it. He didn't anticipate how big it would become. Even if he was the one that ruined animation, he did it unintentionally, most likely. I really doubt he did it intentionally, but it's still bad if he did it unintentionally. Walt Disney started a formula, and that formula would be replicated by literally everyone. Everyone wanted to be like Disney. Sometimes good stuff came out of it, other times bad stuff came out of it. Things didn't get really bad though, I'd say, until the Renaissance. Now, the Renaissance, like these movies, they're objectively good movies. I'm not hating on them, I'm not hating on the talented people that worked on them or anything like that, but I cannot deny that everyone in the 90s tried to replicate these movies. Like, there's all kinds of movies that they tried to emulate these. They tried to be the next Little Mermaid, the next Beauty and the Beast, the next Aladdin, stuff like that. Everyone wanted to be like Disney in the 90s because it was like the big trend to follow. And even with other animated movies that started like other trends in animation, such as Toy Story in 1995 or Shrek in 2001, even then you still had people trying to be like Disney. For a long time, no one wanted to experiment. No one wanted to be different. Everyone wanted to play it safe and be just like Disney. Nobody wanted to be unique. Nobody wanted to stand out. And yes, you had flukes like, as I mentioned before, Shrek, but that was it. Most of the time, people were trying to be just like Disney. It wouldn't be until Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in 2018 where it was finally decided, you know what? You can do something different. You don't have to follow what Disney and Pixar do. You can do something completely different, completely unique. And that's why even though Spider-Verse fits this trend of starting a formula, it's actually like for the better instead of for the worse. Since the release of Spider-Verse, we've begun this trend of more artistic animated movies. No, I don't care if you think that's a pretentious name. I don't know how else to distinguish these from the generic stuff that Disney's been putting out lately. But anyways, these movies, they show that you could do incredible things with animation. They all have unique animation styles. They all have like elements in them that you're never gonna see in a Disney movie or a modern Pixar movie. And to think that it all like really got big because of Spider-Verse. To think that Sony did this. Sony, the people that made the Emoji Movie. That's insane. In only a year, Sony went from releasing the Emoji Movie to releasing a movie that's better than like 99% of the Disney canon. That's f***ing insane. Seriously. Finally, animation is crawling out of this shell of just being just like Disney, and now we could probably get more unique stuff. You ever take the time to think, like, why aren't animated horror movies a thing? Think about it. Have you ever seen an animated horror movie? Because I've never seen one. And I hate that because there is so much unlimited potential in animated horror. You could do things in animation that you couldn't be able to do in live action. When it comes to animated horror, let's see. There's Coraline, there's Courage the Cowardly Dog, and yeah, that's basically it. And that's a shame. I want to see an animated horror movie. But unfortunately, that's never going to happen because of Disney. The animation is for kids nonsense continues to exist, and Disney is the reason why. This is why adult animated movies are such a rarity, and that bothers me. It genuinely bothers me. People are going to bring up that one quote from Walt Disney. You're dead if you think adults can't watch cartoons. Adults are just grown-up kids anyways, or something like that. I probably got it wrong, but I don't care. And you know what? This would be a great quote if he actually said it. There is no proof that he has ever said this before. There is no proof at all that he has said this. Listen, I could take any famous celebrity and I could slap a random quote next to it and I could make it seem like, oh well guys, he actually said this. This is such a deep quote, very inspirational. Like, come on man, there's no way. Unless there's any audible proof that he said this, I don't trust it. There is no like proof of him saying this. I'm sorry, but there is no proof. With that said, I do want to dive more into this recent trend of artistic animated movies and how everyone wants to be different except for Disney and Pixar. The last great Disney movie, for me, in my opinion, was Moana. That was the last great one. Nothing after Moana has like been like all that amazing to me. Ralph Breaks the Internet sucks. Frozen 2, I barely see anyone talk about this movie, let alone acknowledge its existence, despite how massive the first Frozen was. So I think that's indicative of its quality. Raya and the Last Dragon is mid. Encanto is overhyped. I'm sorry, I cannot get into Encanto. Maybe it's just because I'm not really that big on musicals. Maybe it's because it came out the worst possible time in my life. But I just cannot get into Encanto. Strange World is mid. I really doubt Disney's gonna have that steam again. Because even though they're the main problem, a lot of their movies are objectively good. Like, I can't hate on Wreck-It Ralph. I can't hate Emperor's New Groove. I can't hate Zootopia. Like, those are objectively good movies. But their recent outings have just proven to be very, like, bleh, and that's it. Especially in comparison to everything that other, like, animated studios have been putting out. Everyone is doing something different, okay? Sony is doing something different. DreamWorks is doing something different. Illumination is doing something different. The Mario movie looks really good, especially for Illumination standards, and I'm honestly really excited for it. I never thought I would ever be excited for an Illumination movie, but here we are, lads, here we are. If Blue Sky was still with us, they would be doing something different, but unfortunately they were kidnapped by the mouse, and the mouse proceeded to do all kinds of ungodly horrors to them until they eventually died in early 2021. May they rest in peace. Everyone wants to do something different, except for Disney. Disney just wants to stay the same. Disney doesn't want to follow this recent trend. They just want to stay the same that they are. And the same thing with Pixar. Pixar doesn't want to follow this trend. Now that doesn't make any sense at all. With Disney, honestly, yeah, it feels in character for them. For Pixar to not follow it doesn't make any sense at all. It really doesn't. Now, here's the thing. The difference between Disney versus Pixar is that Pixar actually cares about the art of animation. Or at least they used to. You had movies like The Incredibles. You have movies like Wall-E, Ratatouille. Like, these are art. These are cinema. These movies, they're animated, but they're also masterpieces despite that. You would think the people that gave us these movies, or better yet, you would think the people that gave us Toy Story, the first ever CGI animated movie, you would think that they would join in on this trend of artistic animated movies. But no, they just stay producing safe and generic stuff, just like Disney. I don't like to talk trash about Pixar. I don't think any of us do. Listen, talking trash about Disney is one of the most fun things you could do as a cartoon YouTuber. Trust me. But talking trash about Pixar, it just doesn't feel right, you know? It feels wrong. It feels blasphemous. It feels really blasphemous to do. But at the same time, until Pixar steps up their game, until they start giving us more Ratatouilles and less Turning Reds, less Lightyears, I'm sorry, but they're part of the problem. Let me show you the difference between old Pixar versus new Pixar. The Incredibles is a movie that only Pixar could make. Nobody else could make The Incredibles except for Pixar. DreamWorks couldn't make it. Illumination couldn't make it. Sony couldn't make it. Not even Disney themselves could make The Incredibles. Only Pixar could make The Incredibles. In comparison, Lightyear is a movie that literally anyone could have made because it is just that generic and unremarkable. If Lightyear wasn't based on a famous, well-established cartoon character and was instead just a generic Space Ranger character, it could easily pass off as an Illumination movie because that's how generic it is. It does nothing interesting at all. It doesn't have that Pixar magic in it. It just feels like a generic animated movie because that's what it is. With that said, I do want to move on and talk about an upcoming event that I think will have an impact on the current state of animation. So let's talk about it. The Oscars are coming up this year, and that means we're going to see what the Oscars will consider to be the best animated movie of the year. We're going to see what's going to win Best Animated Feature. Best Animated Feature nominees this year include Turning Red, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and GDT's Pinocchio. If Turning Red wins over Puss in Boots or GDT's Pinocchio, we're going to have a f***ing problem, okay? We're going to have a serious problem because Turning Red should not win. Animation is a dead art form. And the Oscars, I feel like they play a part in that. I'm surprised I haven't brought them up yet until now. All of the awards for Best Animated Feature, they give them to Disney and Pixar. To date, there have only been like 5 movies that aren't from Disney or Pixar to win Best Animated Feature. Here's hoping that we get a 6th movie because there is no way that they'll think Turning Red is better than these 2 movies, especially GDT's Pinocchio. I loved Puss in Boots, but I want GDT's Pinocchio to win because not only do I think it's the better film, but also because I know that GDT, he has that whole thing where he says like, you know, animation is art, animation is cinema, and unlike this Walt Disney quote, there's actual like concrete proof that he said this, so there's that. If he wins the Oscar, he's gonna implement the whole animation is art thing. He's gonna implement that into his award speech. If Turning Red wins, nothing changes. The animation is for kids nonsense will continue to strive. Disney will continue to dominate the animation industry. Nothing will change. If Puss in Boots wins, well, that would be a very great thing. But I mainly want GDT's Pinocchio to win just because I know he has the huge passion for, you know, animation is art, animation is cinema. And then hopefully the idiots that watch the Oscars and whatever and think like animation is just dumb Disney stuff for kids, they're gonna open their eyes and they're gonna realize that this is an entire art form that has been severely mistreated because of one man and his mouse. And they're gonna finally wake up and realize that animation is f***ing art. I just want it to happen. I don't want Turning Red to win, okay? I did not like Turning Red all that much, and I don't want it to win. I seriously do not want it to win. Yeah, Mr. Enter joke, funny, but being serious, I did not like Turning Red all that much. I really don't like it all that much. One time I got recommended a video that was talking about why animation studio wars are redundant. The video was around like 30 minutes long. It didn't really have that many views. It had like 3,000 views and that's it. I didn't watch the video, but the first thing that I thought of when I came across it was, okay, so you want Disney to continue dominating the animation industry. Is that what you want? Homie, we are living in a time when animation is finally doing different stuff. People are no longer following the Disney formula. We are no longer slaves to the mouse. And you want to change that. You want things to go back to the way that they were. Are you serious, bro? I scrolled through the comments of that video and I thought there would be people that would have felt the same way that I felt. But no, people were agreeing with whatever points were made in that video. People were saying like we should be all working together because animation's in a rough spot. We shouldn't, we shouldn't exclude Disney. Disney cares about animation, stuff like that. No, they don't. They don't care about animation. Not to mention as well that if this quote-unquote animation studio war consisted of like DreamWorks versus Disney versus Sony versus Illumination versus whatever, then yeah, I guess it would be a little bit understandable as to why you would be against that. But that's not how it's going. This animation studio war literally consists of everyone versus Disney. Everyone else is teaming up together to fight the mouse. And it's beautiful. I just wanted to bring this up because as soon as I got recommended this video, I knew I had to bring it up at some point in this video. It only made sense. Okay, Disney doesn't care about animation. Maybe they did back then. Maybe they pretended to care, but they don't care anymore. They really don't care. Disney started a formula. It got really big, and for a very long time, everyone wanted to be like it. If only Disney could just do something different. If I could go back in time, I would go up to Walt Disney, and I would just tell him to do something different with his movies. Make something a little more, like, for adults, nothing for kids. Make something with more, like, dark storylines and whatnot, instead of, safe princess stuff. Do something like wild, do something out there. Because if he did something like that, the whole animation is for kids nonsense, easily prevented. Just like that. I don't care if you think I sound pretentious for suggesting this. I'm just saying though, constantly making princess stuff isn't going to draw in the idea that, oh, animation is for everyone and not just for kids. I'm just saying. Sometimes I wish Disney never existed at all. Like, sometimes I have to wonder, what would the world be like without Disney? What would animation be like if Disney never existed? Because obviously, there would be a massive change if Disney never existed. A lot of things would be different. And I have this feeling that one of those things would be animation would be taken seriously. The animation is for kids nonsense, it wouldn't exist. It straight up wouldn't exist. Animation would be seen as a legitimate art form. On the other hand though, the reality kicks in and I realize that we need Disney. Listen, none of us like Disney. As a company, they put out some good movies, but as a company they are atrocious. They dominate 99% of the animation industry. They're notoriously homophobic. Walt Disney was allegedly let's just say Walt Disney made Graduation, okay? Let's put it that way. There's a lot of things wrong with Disney, but at the same time, they're kind of a necessary evil, as much as I hate to say it. Because there's a lot of cartoons and whatnot that owe their entire existence to Disney. Looney Tunes wouldn't exist without Disney. I looked it up. Disney came before Looney Tunes. I would have loved it if it was the other way around, but it's not. That's just how history is. If Disney never existed, there would be no Looney Tunes, and potentially, by extension, there would be no Warner Bros. Animation. There would be no Hanna-Barbera stuff, there would be no Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, none of that would exist. Cartoon Network stuff, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Lab, Amazing World of Gumball, Adventure Time, regular show, none of that would exist at all. Maybe DC could still exist, but I'm not sure, to be honest. The truth is, without Disney, there would be no Looney Tunes, and without Looney Tunes, there would be no Warner Bros, and without Warner Bros, a lot of things would be different with animation, even more so than if it was just Disney not existing. And that's just one example. Who knows what other cartoons would not exist without Disney? Disney ruined animation, but at the same time, they made a lot of big things in animation happen. So they're like a necessary evil is what they are. And that's the sad thing. It's not entirely bad though, okay? There are some good things that would come out of Disney not existing. Trust me. The Star Wars sequel trilogy wouldn't exist, which means that we wouldn't have to deal with annoying motherfuckers who cannot handle the simple idea of Star Wars having a bad movie. Like, seriously, I'm sure The Last Jedi is a bad film. I've never seen it. I have no intention to ever see it. I'm sure all the hate that it gets is 100% warranted. But for the love of God, this movie is over 5 years old. This movie is half a decade old, and people are still complaining about it. Like, just move on already, please. I don't see Batman fans constantly whining about how bad Batman and Robin was. I don't see Jaws fans constantly whining about how bad Jaws the Revenge was. I don't see Indiana Jones fans constantly whining about how bad Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was. So why do I constantly see Star Wars fans whining about how bad Last Jedi is? Seriously. It cannot be that bad that people are still mad about it all these years later, for God's sake. Frozen wouldn't exist, which means that Elsagate wouldn't exist, which means two things. Number one, there would be a lot of children that grew up with these videos and like they're traumatized by them, and they're not going to be traumatized. They're going to grow up with normal and healthy childhoods. They're not going to watch this disturbing, disgusting garbage. And number two, this means that YouTube wouldn't want to try and, you know, do something about its more like kid-friendly audience now. They're not gonna like try and bring in more like considerably tame stuff for kids. They wouldn't try and turn YouTube into a fucking kindergarten, is what would happen, which means that you could be able to do whatever you want. You could be able to be like edgy and stuff again. You could be able to swear. You could, you know, you don't have to worry about demonetization. You wouldn't have to worry about the adpocalypse. You wouldn't have to worry about anything like that at all. Think about this, lads. Think about this. If it weren't for Frozen, we would still be able to swear in YouTube videos as much as we want with no censorship, and we would still get money from those videos. We could swear like a sailor in our videos, and our videos would still get ad revenue. They would still be monetized. Think about that. Kingdom Hearts wouldn't exist. I swear to God, this game has been haunting me. Like, I know it might seem like I'm overreacting, but Kingdom Hearts might have genuinely taken a toll on my mental health. It's the fact that so many people have gaslit me into thinking that this was a good game when it is so filled to the brim with unacceptable flaws. If this was an EA game or a Ubisoft game or whatever, it would be considered one of the worst games ever made. But because it's not from either of those studios, it gets a pass. I don't want to go into detail about a lot of the flaws. I'll just put like the problems I have with the game on screen, or you could check out my Why I Hate Kingdom Hearts videos after this. But still, Kingdom Hearts wouldn't exist without Disney, and I don't know about you guys, but I find that to be a good thing. I find that to be a very good thing. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna just get it out of the way. I never wanted Sora in Smash, okay? I never wanted this fucker in Smash. I wanted a Grand Theft Auto character in Smash. I wanted to see a GTA character in Smash, because GTA is a franchise that is very important to me. Like, I still have fond memories of playing GTA 5 on my cousin's Xbox One and just having a blast playing it, you know, and like it makes me want to see like the GTA 5 trio, Franklin, Michael, Trevor. It makes me want to see them in Smash Bros. And not to mention as well, Smash Bros is a celebration of iconic gaming, and GTA is undeniably an iconic video game, so it would be a match made in heaven to have GTA in Smash. But no, I never got GTA in Smash. What I got instead was Sora. What I got instead were two girls from some random RPG that I have never heard of before in my entire life, and chances are you have never heard of it either. What I got instead was one of the worst f***ing video games ever made. A complete mockery of 3 classic video games. That's what I got instead. Throughout most of my recent videos, I brought up that I was severely depressed in late 2021, and this was the reason why. This was why I was depressed in late 2021. In late 2019, I joined a Smash Bros. Related community on Twitter, and let me just say, as time went on, things did not get good. I was not having a good time in that community, and things got really bad in late 2021. I was severely depressed by the 1-2 combo punch of having no GTA in Smash, and also having just this really awful remaster. It was an awful time for me. It was a genuinely awful time for me, and nobody cared. Nobody in this community cared about what I was going through. They just ignored me, they neglected me, they didn't care about what I was going through. I was just all alone. I had nobody to vent out to but myself. And I'm never gonna forget that, no matter what. I will never forget that. I never wanted y'all to learn about this, but now I've been left with no other choice. Any attempt to get help from the community has proven to be a complete and utter failure. Very recently, I wrote a very long Twitter post expressing my frustrations with how nobody cared about me during that time, and how I've been very stressed out with a lot of Rockstar's actions, and I've talked about them a lot throughout my GTA videos. Those videos were in a way kind of like venting videos. And what I got instead of getting support, instead of getting, I'm sorry this happened to you, no, they just treated it like a joke. They didn't give a shit about me. They didn't care about me at all. I got no sort of support, no sort of comfort, nothing like that. I don't even know why I'm still in that whole community, for real. And there you go. That's the reason why I hate Kingdom Hearts. That's the core reason. Everything else, like the gummy ship minigames and whatever, that's just the cherry on top. Alright? I wanted to give Kingdom Hearts a fair chance. I really did. But playing the game, experiencing stuff like the gummy ship minigames, the unskippable cutscenes, how the is this considered a good game? It doesn't make sense. I'm gonna go mental. I swear. Kingdom Hearts 1 is objectively one of the worst games ever made, and I don't care what anyone says. All I ever wanted to see was GTA in Smash, but I never got that, and I most likely never will because of how bad the remasters of the trilogy turned out. And that actually frustrates me. That genuinely bothers me to no end. Imagine how crazy it would have been if GTA was in Smash. Seeing CJ appear in the same game with Mario, Sonic, Sans, and Minecraft Steve, it would have been insane. The internet would have exploded if something like that happened. But no, instead we get... Who the are these two? Seriously, who are these two? I've never heard of the game that they came from before in my life. Seriously. Doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. I am so sorry for going off on that really long tangent, but I need to get that out of my system. I've been stressed out with a million things for a while now, and that was one of the biggest things that I've been stressed out about. And also the current state of animation stresses me out as well. And so I put 2 and 2 together, and I just had to clear that out, okay? I had to clear it out. Animation is dead, okay? It doesn't matter anymore. Animation is dead. Spread the word. Hashtag animation is dead. Because no matter what we do, animation will never be seen as a legitimate art form. And that's just a sad truth. There is nothing we can do to stop that. This trend of artistic animated movies, it's not enough. As long as Disney keeps existing, as long as they keep putting out safe corporate slop, 5 out of 10 mediocrity, we're never gonna beat the claims that animation is only for kids, thanks to Disney. I want y'all to spread the word. Animation is dead. Spread it to every cartoon YouTuber. Every cartoon YouTuber needs to hear this. I don't care anymore. Animation is dead. It's dead. I don't care anymore. No matter what we do, the average person will always dismiss animation as an illegitimate art form that's only for kids, only for them to just go and watch, I don't know, a reality TV show or a post-Endgame MCU movie or something like that. Hypocrisy is a very interesting thing, guys. It really is. I'm sorry, I'm just really stressed out right now, and I just need to get all this out of the way. Listen, let me ask you all a question. Because I know people in the comment section are going to be telling me that, like, Walt Disney didn't ruin animation. Walt Disney's not the reason the cartoons are for kids stereotype exists. Then who is? Who's responsible for it? If Walt Disney ain't responsible, then who is responsible? Comment down below who's responsible. Because I want to know if Walt Disney somehow isn't responsible for it. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I know this video is really long. I didn't anticipate it would be this long, but it is. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching this really long series of videos, because I need to get all of this out of the way. Remember, animation is dead. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Adios.